Howdy folks, I'm Preppy Peaches, preachily preaching about praiseworthy products.
I'm Amber.
And here are more praiseworthy products like this beard trimmer. If you don't have a beard trimming guard and you need one, then it's great. Make sure to buy a beard trimmer like this one. This one explicitly. This exact one. I'm selling it for $10,000 or to the highest bidder. Let's get started. And folks, we have a live stream coming up on Friday. For more information, please see the end of the video. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Blowing Up at My Girlfriend After Therapy Backfired? I'm a 28-year-old male, and my girlfriend Emma, a 27-year-old, and I have been together for 6 years. For most of that time, we've been really happy. The kind of relationship that people say just works, you know? We were always on the same page, rarely fought, and genuinely enjoyed each other's company. But over the past year, things started to feel different. Small arguments here and there, more miscommunications, and just weird sense that we weren't really in sync as we used to be. Well, it wasn't anything major, just the usual wear and tear stuff, or so I thought. Emma, however, seemed to be more concerned. She started pointing out issues that I wasn't even aware of, like how I supposedly wasn't listening enough, or I wasn't emotionally available as I used to be. I admit that I've been busy with work, but I thought that we were doing okay. I still don't want to dismiss her feelings. Then, about 6 months ago, she suggested that we go to couples therapy. Now, I've always been a bit skeptical about therapy unless things are really bad, but I agreed because I figured that it couldn't hurt. She said that she found a great therapist through a friend and that we should give it a try. I wasn't familiar with this Lily, but Emma was excited about it, so we booked our first session. At first, the session seemed fine. Lily asked good questions, got us to open up, and gave us some tools to communicate better. I felt like I was doing my best to listen and improve, but something about it felt a little off. Every time we talked about any issue, it seemed like Lily was always subtly siding with Emma. If I mentioned being stressed from work, she would steer the conversation towards how I wasn't giving enough attention to Emma. If I brought up a disagreement, somehow it became my communication issue. However, after a few weeks, Emma started using phrases like, Lily thinks that you should try this, or Lily says that you need to work on that. It felt like everything that I did was being scrutinized and dissected by this woman that I barely knew. I didn't want to be paranoid, but it seemed like Lily was slowly convincing Emma that I was the problem in the relationship. And every time I tried to voice my own concerns, they were brushed aside. I tried to push through it, thinking that maybe I was just on the defensive, but it didn't stop. Every session, the same dynamic. It was like Lily was planting the seeds of doubt in Emma's head, and Emma was running with them. I even started to wonder if maybe I was the problem, that I was actually a bad partner. Things reached a boiling point a couple of weeks ago. During a session, Lily started suggesting that maybe we should consider taking a break so I could work on myself more. That felt like a slap on the face. I had been trying so hard to be a better person, and now she was suggesting that we split up. I looked at Emma, waiting for her to disagree or defend me, but she just sat there, quietly nodding along. After that session, I couldn't hold it anymore. I blew up at Emma when we got home. I told her that I didn't trust Lily's judgment and that I felt like she was just feeding Emma's reasons to blame me for everything wrong in the relationship. Emma got defensive, saying that I was overreacting, that Lily was just trying to help us work through our issues. We didn't talk for a few days, and I started feeling guilty for snapping. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe therapy was really exposing some flaws that I needed to work on. But then, something happened that blew everything wide open. Last week, we went on a mutual friend's party. While there, I overheard Emma and her friend Sarah talking in the corner, giggling about something. I caught just a bit of their conversation. I can't believe you pulled it off for this long. Poor guy still thinks that she's an actual therapist. I immediately confronted them, and that's when Emma's face turned pale. Sarah quickly tried to backtrack, but the truth spilled out. Turns out that Lily isn't a licensed therapist at all. She's one of Emma's close friends from college who thought it would be fun to help Emma fix me by posing as a therapist. Emma had set this whole thing up because she thought that I wouldn't agree to therapy otherwise. They figured that Lily was playing the part, that they could guide me into becoming a better boyfriend without me knowing it. I felt completely betrayed. For months, I had been spilling my heart out to someone who wasn't even qualified to help, and Emma had been in on it the whole time. All of those sessions where I felt attacked and manipulated suddenly made sense because I was being manipulated. When I confronted Emily about how messed up this was, she broke down, saying that she never meant to hurt me and that she just wanted to help us grow as a couple. But honestly, I don't know how to move past this. I haven't been able to look at her the same since. Now Emma and her friends are saying that I overreacted, that it was just a little white lie meant to help our relationship. But I feel like I've been gaslit and lied to for months. So am I the jerk for blowing up at my girlfriend when I found out our therapist was a total fraud? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. I mean, I would recommend, I think this relationship probably needs to come to an end. If she's willing to lie and manipulate you in this way, that doesn't bode well for the future.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I mean, first off, OP, break up with this person, right? You had a good relationship. Things were going really well. And then Emma decided that she wanted to manipulate you and turn you into a completely different person. Don't date someone if you're not happy with who that person is. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't work towards becoming the best version of yourself, right?
Right. And if they had gone to an actual couples therapist, that would have been one thing. Yeah. Because there might very well be things that both partners could improve on in this relationship.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that there are issues, but to get a friend to try and manipulate OP and make it look like it's all his fault and he's the only one who has to change, is not okay. And sometimes one partner is more at fault than the other, but that's a licensed professional's job, not your random biased friend's job.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that OP should also consider filing legal charges here against both for fraud. I'm pretty sure that this is very, very illegal for them to have done this, right? And to pass yourself off as a licensed therapist when you're not a licensed therapist will probably have some very serious consequences if OP wanted to take it that far. And then they can use the money to actually hire a real therapist because OP is going to have a lot of stuff to work through here, I imagine.
Serious trust issues, probably.
How can you come back from something like this where you've been told for a long time that you're the problem, that you're the reason why the relationship is failing and broken and stuff like that? That's going to be a lot of baggage to bring into another relationship, right? And OP is never going to really know whether they're, actually calibrated right to know whether something is their fault or not. They've been gaslit, they've been lied to and deceived for a long time. So this was honestly such a cruel thing to do to OP. And they really need to get out of this relationship ASAP. So I think that when they were saying that they wanted to take a break, let them take their break permanently. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Usual Concept 6870 says, I think that you can actually take legal action, and you really should. That stranger was pretending to be a licensed therapist, use it to extort information from you that you would not share otherwise, and manipulated you with it. This has to be illegal on so many levels. Besides, did they also have you pay for those sessions? And Dingleberry says, absolutely, she violated your trust and privacy. You deserve real therapy, not manipulation. Consider reporting her for this deception. What do you think about the money aspect?
I mean, yeah, I wondered about that too. And certainly, if they were paying for it, that's not okay. And, yeah, that would be really bad.
Yeah, splitting the money between the girlfriend and the therapist or something like that. I betcha that was happening. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for kicking my cousin out of my birthday party after she spiked my drinks knowing that I'm a recovering alcoholic? So this happened last weekend at my 30th birthday. For some context, I, a female, have been sober for the past 8 months. I used to struggle with drinking. It got bad for a little while, but I've worked really hard to get sober and stay that way. It hasn't been easy at all, but I'm proud of how far I've come. Pretty much everyone in my close circle knows about my sobriety, and for the most part, they've been supportive. Everyone except for my cousin Emily. Emily has always been kind of the wild card in the family. She's one of those people who thinks that everyone else is too uptight and always insists that people relax and have some fun. She's made comments before about how I'm no fun anymore since I stopped drinking and how I'm being dramatic about it, but I always just try to brush it off. Anyways, fast forward to my birthday party. I had some friends over, nothing huge, and I specifically made mocktails for myself and a few other friends who don't drink. Things were going great, and I was feeling good, and everyone seemed to be having a nice time. That's when I started to feel off. At first, I couldn't figure it out, but I started feeling this familiar lightheadedness. And then the room got kind of hazy, the kind of hazy warmth. I hadn't felt that way since I stopped drinking, and it freaked me out. My heart sank. I was like, no way, but then I tasted my drink and I realized that something was wrong. I confronted Emily at first and she acted all innocent, but then laughed and said, come on, it's your birthday, live a little. I only put a little bit in, what's the harm? I couldn't believe it, I was furious. She knew that I was recovering and she put alcohol in my drinks anyways without telling me. I completely lost my temper and I yelled at her to get out. She kept laughing like it was some big joke, but I wouldn't back down. She got annoyed and said that I was ruining the party. She stormed off, and I felt this mix of anger and betrayal. How could she do that to me? After she left, a couple of people told me that maybe I overreacted, that she was just trying to have fun, and I shouldn't have let it go, but I just couldn't. I've worked so hard to stay sober, and she could have completely derailed that. Now I'm sitting here wondering if I was too harsh or if I should have handled it better. Some people are saying that I took it a bit too far, but honestly I feel like she crossed a huge line. Am I the jerk? Alright folks, what do you think? Too far or not far enough?
Yeah, certainly not too far. OP, you're not in the wrong, and I'm no legal expert, but I'm pretty sure drugging people without their consent is illegal.
Oh yeah, drugging people without their consent is illegal, and I don't think that she realizes that how big of a deal this is. I think that you should file a police report against her and completely cut her out of your life. Like, you cannot trust her around you anymore, and you can't trust that she's going to respect very, very reasonable boundaries.
Yeah, and I mean, I would recommend giving the people who are siding with her a timeout, because you did not overreact at all.
Yeah.
You have reacted perfectly reasonably, and if you want to go to the police and report her, that would also be perfectly reasonable. And the fact that OP, has substance use issues makes this worse, but even if she didn't, you do not drug people regardless.
Yeah. So, again, I think that OP shouldn't trust the friends who are saying that this was, they went too far, because they didn't go too far. If they think that OP went too far, then they're not supportive enough of OP's sobriety goals. And I think that OP needs to do a little cleaning of friends, because if they want to stay sober and they want to be the best version of themselves, then they need to get rid of the people who are going to drag them back. That's my advice. I think that OP has a lot of house cleaning to do.
Right. And, OP is totally entitled to feel hurt and betrayed by this, because this is a huge betrayal, and she's absolutely right that it could set her back in her progress. So don't let people feel like you're being unreasonable or you're being too harsh. This is perfectly, perfectly reasonable.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Careless Housing 507 says, no one can seriously think that drugging someone isn't a big deal. And Paris JetX says, exactly, whoever's siding with her is ridiculous. She even needs to be reported. And OP replies, appreciate it. I know that she's a bit wild, but I would never expected her to do something like this. And Negative Emu 1732 says, as someone who's dealt with addiction before and knows a lot of former addicts, I can say safely to get rid of her. Anyone who disagrees and thinks that you're overreacting, get rid of them too. Recovery is a fragile process. You can't afford to tolerate anything or anyone that will get in the way. And OP replies, thank you for your comment. This means a whole lot to me. Alright folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
Thank you so much to the dictionary for explaining the word many to me. It means a lot.
That wasn't too bad. And I have Mega Mint. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Manic Monday, folks. And as you can see, we have a live stream coming up on Friday. Folks, we hope to see you then. And Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance. And please, have it on deceiving people.
Manipulating people to make them more like you want them is not okay, and you shouldn't do it.
That's a great moral. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye!